Good evening. I'm your old English narrator for tonight's tale. Lean in, because tonight we discuss a man who built a hotel not for hospitality, but for horror. A story that sounds like fiction, until you realize it's not. They called him Dr. H. Holmes, a name that would become synonymous with evil, whispered in the same breath as Jack the Ripper. He is often called America's first notorious serial killer. He had a charming face, a soothing voice, and a smile that unlocked doors. I always say, monsters rarely look like monsters. Holmes was born Herman Webster Mudgett, a respectable student with a sharp intellect and a degree from the University of Michigan's Department of Medicine and Surgery. But his medical training wasn't for healing. It was for understanding the mechanics of life and, more importantly, death. He had a knack for confidence, a talent for manipulation. But what he truly studied was people, their trust, their weaknesses, and of course their wallets. He arrived in Chicago in 1886, a city pulsing with ambition and anonymity, the perfect hunting ground. By 1893, the World's Fair spilled light and wonder across the city, drawing millions. It was the perfect cover. And on a quiet corner, Holmes built his masterpiece, a 3-story labyrinth of death the papers would later dub the Murder Castle. He hired and fired builders constantly, ensuring no one but him understood the full, horrific design. He changed contractors the way others change coats, leaving a trail of unpaid bills and baffled workers. The building was a maze of over 100 rooms, hallways that twisted to nowhere, staircases that led to brick walls, and doors that opened to sheer drops. Many guest rooms were soundproofed and fitted with hidden gas lines, controlled from a panel in Holmes's own office. He could asphyxiate his guests with the flick of a switch. Trapdoors were hidden under rugs, and secret chutes, disguised as laundry or rubbish drops, led directly to the basement. And the basement, that was his personal laboratory. It contained a dissection table, a crematorium, vats of acid, and pits of quicklime to dissolve any trace of his victims. He called it a hotel. I call it a purpose-built abattoir. His victims were often young women drawn to the city by the promise of the fair. They arrived seeking work, lodging, romance, or a fresh start. Many were his employees whom he'd require to take out life insurance policies, naming him as the beneficiary. Once they entered the castle, many never left. He would spin elaborate stories for concerned families, collect the insurance money, and forge signatures with the surgeon's care. If greed had a heartbeat, it sounded like his. But hubris is always louder. His downfall wasn't the castle, but a simple insurance scam in Philadelphia involving a male accomplice. When an investigator from the Pinkerton agency began looking into the fraudulent claim, he pulled on one loose thread, and the entire blood-soaked suit unraveled. Holmes was arrested in Boston in 1894. The trial in 1895 was a sensation. He stood in the dock as if he were at afternoon tea, calm, polite, utterly detached. Convicted of murder, he was executed in 1896. Now, we must separate myth from reality. Holmes confessed to 27 murders, though only 9 could be plausibly confirmed. The press, hungry for a story, claimed the number was closer to 200. The truth is, we will never know the real number. The castle itself was a house of horrors, but perhaps not the industrial-scale killing factory of legend. Before he died, he claimed he was born with the devil in him. I don't buy that. Evil isn't always supernatural. Sometimes it's just a man with a pen, a title, and a plan. So why does this matter now? because the tools of the con man haven't changed. The best scams still sell one thing: trust. So ask questions, read the contracts, follow the blueprint, and if a deal seems too good to be true or the hallway looks like a maze, maybe don't go in. Subscribe for more tales from the darker side of history. If you want more in-depth looks at stories like this, you'll find them on my channel. Thank you for listening.